So, just like last time, I took my parents out to the good old Criterion closet you have to pay for, also known as the Barnes & Noble half-off Criterion sale. Let's see what we got. It's morphin' time!
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another Criterion sale haul. So we had done one of these in the summer, when there was the summer Barnes & Noble half-off Criterion sale, which was a blast, had a good time of that, so did it again for the fall. Not as many titles this time because we did pick up quite a few last time. This one will be quite enjoyable because I have seen a couple of the movies in these stacks, but not most of them. And so I kind of want to discuss in the video like why we picked them up and why I'm interested in seeing them, because there's a lot of intention with the purchases to actually watch the movies. Sometimes tricky. I don't always watch everything I buy because there's certain things, like especially TV shows. I fill in gaps of TV shows even if I don't intend to watch them. But point being, plan to watch all these movies. So let's discuss what we picked up. Also, if you're curious what my thoughts are after I do see these movies, go follow me on Letterboxd, because every time I watch a movie, I review it on Letterboxd. And I've backtracked that. I've reviewed every movie I've watched this year, and I've put in scores for like every movie I can remember seeing. So I've got that whole thing cataloged pretty good. I'm having fun with Letterboxd, so if you're on there and you're not following me, go follow me there. It's a good way to keep up with, like, when I watch these movies, I will log a review of them, and then you can kind of figure out, like, oh, he enjoyed that one, or he didn't like that one, that kind of thing. It's a good way to kind of do a little bit of a follow-up outside of the videos. So let's get to it, but before we get too far, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you keep up with future videos on the channel. Really do appreciate that. And let's go take a look at what we picked up from the Criterion sale for the fall edition at Barnes & Noble. Alright, let's start alphabetically with 3:10 to Yuma. This is a classic Western film that's also a psychological thriller, which is a very neat combination. Watched this last night, actually. This is a really, really cool film. It's also interesting because a lot of black and white films aren't presented in widescreen in your 1.85 to 1. So that was kind of like a neat little surprise because I'm not used to seeing that. Usually black and white films pretty much in your standard 4:3, not your widescreen style. But this is a great film. We haven't checked it out before. I do recommend it. I think there was a modern remake, which I can't remember exactly if there was, but I think there is. And yeah, this is once again a nice release. Whenever we're looking at Criterion stuff, I mean, that's the cool part about it. It's like when you look at it and you're like, oh, that's an expensive release, and then Barnes & Noble's like half off, and it's like, wow, that became an insanely good deal. Because you get the whole booklet here, you get the Blu-ray disc itself. It's a little light on bonus features. Pretty much just has like a couple interviews with the author of the original book, and then also the interview with Glenn Ford's son. It's nice. It's not like a ton, but it is some good stuff. And it is a 4K film transfer, but it is only a Blu-ray release, because I don't even know if putting it on a 4K disc would do anything for it. But still pretty fun if you love Westerns. Alright, Noir fans, we have The Big Heat. Speaking of Glenn Ford, this is kind of interesting just the way things ended up going on our picks here. Big Heat is one of the classic noir films. This one also, it's in black and white, and it's done a 4K transfer because, boom, they did a 4K of it as well, which is always nice to see. Criterion's slowly upgrading their collection to 4K, which is nice. It's got some extra bonus features, audio interviews, commentary, that sort of good thing. Plus, of course, we got a booklet. It's always interesting to see how I don't know what the choosing process is for booklets. Like, why is this one like a fold-out, whereas like 3:10 to Yuma was like a booklet? I have no idea. But it's still nice that they include all this good stuff in it. It's really fun. I think it's kind of a nice part about Criterion is you always feel like you're getting a good value on your releases, and yeah, this is no different. You ever get swayed into getting something just based off of its premise? That's me. So this movie, Blowout, with John Travolta and Nancy Allen, I've never seen this. My dad was like, you want to see this movie? And I was like, I don't know. And I read the description, and it says, in the enthralling Blowout, brilliantly crafted by Brian De Palma, John Travolta gives one of his greatest performances as a movie sound effects man who believes he has accidentally recorded a political assassination. That was all I needed to be sold, honestly. That was it. That premise sounds great, because it's like, it's about somebody that works in movies, getting involved in something outside movies, and that's all kind of all I need to do. And then also it has a bunch of cool bonus features, an hour-long interview with Brian De Palma, and then you also got, new video interviews, De Palma's 1967 feature, Murder a la Mode, which I'm assuming is very connected in some way, plus some other bonus features, which is really, really cool. So if I end up loving this movie, plenty of bonus material. Also, love the packaging design here with like the sound effect reels. And then, yeah, pretty thick booklet on this one, which I think is nice as well. So we got essays and a bunch of photos. There's like a bunch of photos in this one, which looks like, yeah, storyboard continuity shots and posters and things about the transfer, all that good stuff. Yeah, very interested to check this out because, yeah, I hadn't seen it before, but premise alone has got me sold, and I'm curious to see how this will be. All right, so my dad picked out Dim Sum, A Little Bit of the Heart, a Wang film. This was basically a follow-up to Chan is Missing. So here we got two movies. These are both independent films by a filmmaker, Wang. And basically, we got, Chan is Missing, and then the sequel, or the follow-up, I should say, which is Dim Sum, A Little Bit of the Heart. Never seen either of these. My dad hasn't either. So this was just kind of like well, they're on sale. That seems kind of interesting. Let's give it a go sort of movie picks, which I think is kind of fun to do from time to time. Like, yeah, it's ideally a thing you do on streaming, but sometimes you're like, you're in the store, you're getting rewards points, you're in the mood, you're just kind of hanging out. It's just, it's kind of fun to do things like that. And so these will be interesting to take a look at. I guess I'll just let you pause on the premise if you wish, because that way you guys can get an idea. But yeah, these, it's kind of fun because I think, like, a lot of times, like, the longer that you are a film fan, the more you just kind of refine into, well, I know what I'll like, and then sometimes you don't try, like, new things, and I think it's still important to try new things because you kind of need to reset the old taste meter sometimes. Like, for me, like, if I see too many good movies in a row, I have to, like, watch something that I know is going to be bad just to kind of balance it out. And then sometimes I end up enjoying that bad movie for, like, different reasons because it's like, oh, this movie sucks, but, like, it's kind of fun. And so, yeah, always try new movies, I think, is the moral of this story. All right, broke down and got the Citizen Kane. Now, Citizen Kane, it's one of those movies that its reputation sort of precedes it when you go to see it. And so some people are like, they watch it and they're like, this is the best movie of all time. This is really damn good. I think the best movie of all time is entirely a subjective point of view to have, because for some people, a movie with no flaws is boring. To others, a movie with no flaws is perfection. What is it you're looking for in a movie? What can really be considered the best movie of all time? I can tell you this much. This is not the best cover art of all time, but it makes sense in a minute. Yeah, they just put a giant K for Citizen Kane. Not an image of, Orson Welles, but this is, at 25, writer, director, producer, star, Orson Welles made what is considered to be the best movie of all time. And talk about peaking early. He terrified people with War of the Worlds, and then he did this. So, yeah, anyways. The cool part about the packaging is that you open it and it's a K, A, N, E, and then a thick booklet in the middle. And so you get, like, the moments in Kane's life right there. And then, of course, the famous snow globe. It is a movie that, again, I think its reputation precedes it in a lot of ways. It's also a movie that, like, I had to do a lot of studies of it in film school, and film classes I took was like, oh yeah, we got to study Citizen Kane because obviously. And so the thing that is kind of fun about it is that I haven't really gone back and watched it since film school because I kind of overanalyzed it while I was doing everything. So it's one of those movies where I'm like, the last Blu-ray release, I think it was by Warner Brothers. I got the Blu-ray. So I was like, well, I was looking at it this time. I was like, well, I skipped it on the last sale. Should get it on this sale. There is a metric ton of special features on this. So you got the 4K disc, which has the 4K of the movie. You've got 3 audio commentaries. There's a feature-length BBC documentary. There's new interviews, video essays, new stuff made for this release, old stuff from old releases, Mercury Theater radio plays, newsreel footage. they really went all out on this, and it is across 4 discs, which is 1 4K disc and 3 Blu-ray discs, and I think that's pretty spectacular. This is ultimately going to be, for the rest of time, the definitive collection of what is definitively and universally considered the best film of all time. It's one of those movies where, would I rank it the best movie of all time? No, but that's because my standards for movies are different in that, if a movie is perfect, it's almost boring to me, but I think Citizen Kane is brilliant. I also think that there's other movies that could be in the contention for best films of all time, even above this. And that's controversial, I know, but if anyone's studying film and anyone's a fan of film and has never seen Citizen Kane, you need to see it at least once, because you got to understand, why this became the barometer of filmmaking, and it will make sense when you see it. You'll be like, oh, that's why everybody considers this movie in such high regard. All right, we have Gilda with Rita Hayworth. I believe this is another noir movie. There was a recent Cinemassacre video about noir films and what makes noir great, and my mom and I were like, we need to watch more noir films this month. So that's kind of like the origin of some of this. Kind of cool bonus features on here, so, there's your description if you want to pause. But kind of neat bonus features because you got an audio commentary from 2010, and then a new interview for a noir historian, then a piece from 2010 featuring filmmakers discussing their appreciation for Gilda. This is kind of interesting. The Odyssey of Rita Hayworth, a 1964 episode of the television show Hollywood and the Stars. When does that ever happen? When do we ever get old TV put on stuff as bonus features? That's pretty awesome. I do love the pink disc, and I do love the pink spine to kind of counter the black and white noir nature of it. And then this booklet is actually a poster. So again, Criterion, not exactly consistent, and I don't know necessarily why they choose oh, this booklet's going to be a booklet and this one's going to be a fold-out poster. But look at that. That kind of feels appropriate for the movie too. And then you got all your cool essay stuff and transfer information on the back, which is super fun. And yeah, I think this one's going to be kind of fun. I got a stack of noir movies set up now to do noir stuff for November. It's awesome. Movies are great. Moonstruck, Cher, Nicolas Cage. That was all I needed to be sold on this. It's kind of just, I sometimes it's filmmakers or certain actors or certain artists are just very interesting, and I'm like, well, if that person and that person was involved with it, it must be fun to watch. And so that's how some of these choices came to be. My mom told me about a scene in this movie, which I definitely have seen that scene before. So I was like, all right, definitely going to check this out. Do love that the disc is the Criterion logo with the moon in the background. That's really fun. Really cool visual of Cher there. Very interested to see what this movie is going to be like, because I literally haven't even read the back of it. I showed it up on camera. Didn't actually read it, because I'm kind of I want to just kind of walk into this one and then just see what it's like. Again, not sure why this one's a fold-out pamphlet and not just a booklet, but just really, really curious to see how this will all kind of shake out when I actually watch it, because sometimes it's fun just to be surprised by a movie. Sometimes you don't even need to know what the movie's about, right? You just need to be oh, this person made it and this person was in it, and be like, sure, I'll give it a go. That's the fun of discovering movies sometimes. You just got to not overthink it so much. Be like, am I going to like this? Nah, just watch it. See if you enjoy it. All right, Notorious. We got a Hitchcock movie here. This is one of the early ones, 1946. Been trying to do a watch through of as many Hitchcock movies as I can, because I've seen a chunk of them, and then there's a bunch I've never seen, and so I've been trying to piece together a collection of them to kind of watch them sort of in order best I can, so that way I can kind of go oh, this is the evolution of the filmmaker and all that. Really cool interior here. I kind of like how the booklet and the interior image sort of pair well together. I do love Criterion's design. They have a very uniformist design, right? With the spine designs and everything, but they make it unique to each film, which I think is fun. It's not oh, here's the same exact design for everything. I mean, I love Kino Lorber, but Kino Lorber's packaging design is basically here's the same thing for everybody. Kind of like how this one has a little bit of a booklet feel, but then a fold out for the poster there. So pretty cool, pretty nice, going into the Hitchcock shelf. I picked out this one, Pan's Labyrinth. So This is one of Guillermo del Toro's like highlight films, absolutely. And with Frankenstein recently released, which is on Netflix, by the way, go check it out. It's amazing. I got to see it in theaters, which was a beautiful experience, and absolutely loved it. As a long-term classic monster fan, and as somebody that has read the original Frankenstein novel, I was very pleased with Del Toro's adaptation. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, do recommend it. But anyways, Pan's Labyrinth is one of those iconic Del Toro movies. I kept the little sticker that had the little like director approved on it. This is also because so many of Del Toro's movies are under Criterion, and like Pinocchio was. I'm really hoping Frankenstein's getting the Criterion treatment, because Guillermo del Toro did say it's going to get a physical release, so why not Criterion? This is the iconic creature from Pan's Labyrinth, which was Doug Jones. And the hands and the eyes, I think, is like, it's the visual. It's like, how do we tell somebody Pan's Labyrinth? There you go. But this movie's got a lot of great stuff to it. It's very cool. And yeah, if you haven't seen it and you like Del Toro's work, definitely worth checking it out. Also, I kind of want to go back through and watch all of Del Toro's movies, because he's been talking about like, oh, there's a little bit of Frankenstein in every movie I've made. And like, making Frankenstein is like the culmination of everything I'm done. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I see the Frankenstein parts in like Hellboy or Pinocchio, but I kind of want to go back and like see him like, all right, what Frankenstein element is in this movie, for example. So kind of a fun little exercise to do in the future. All right, the Philadelphia Story. So this movie is very interesting, because I haven't seen Philadelphia Story, but I've seen High Society, and I really liked High Society. The High Society essentially is kind of like the same idea, the same plot, but in a musical form, and this is in comedy form. So I think it's kind of fun that there's kind of different version takes on this story, because it's based on a stage play. And so, yeah, I really like High Society, so this is going to be a fun watch for sure. This also has 2 full episodes of the Dick Cavett Show of 1973, featuring interviews with Hepburn. So I'm liking that, I like the way that Criterion pulls kind of what I would call unexpected bonus features. Like when they couldn't get something, they got something else. Like getting rights to old TV is hard, and so the whack they pulled that off, I think, is great. But I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, this is another one of my mom picked this out and was like, have you ever seen this? I'm like, no. And she's like, okay, we're getting this one so you can see it. This looks fun. I'm looking forward to this. I think this will be a blast. So looking forward to watching more of these. And I just kind of wanted to do the Criterion haul without having seen a bunch of them, was just so I could kind of talk about like, oh, what caught my eye to want to watch this. All right, Red River, another Western. This one's John Wayne and Montgomery Clift, and directed by Howard Hawks. This is my mom capitalizing on the fact that I'm reading the Jonah Hex All-Star Western Omnibus. So I've just been reading a lot of Western comics lately, and I'm like in a Western mood, and she's like, time to show you more Westerns while you're in this mood. And I'm like, yep, good time to do it. Yeah, this is a pretty cool set as well, because there is the original theatrical cut and the preferred cut of director Howard Hawks with uncompressed monaural soundtrack. So pretty nice, and really cool bonus features as well. It also has a Lux Radio Theater adaptation included, which I think is neat. Radio stuff, there's not a lot of people like demanding radio stuff. You can see disc 1 is the theatrical, and disc 2 is the pre-release version. So there's that. Nice shot of John Wayne there. But yeah, I think it's kind of neat that like Criterion's willing to just throw in these bonus features that I think they probably know that like a big chunk of the audience is never going to listen to. But I like that it's there anyways. That's like the really cool part. So yeah, it's always, people ask like, oh, are Criterion releases worth it? And I always say like, oh, wait for the sales. But on their own, they are worth it, because they do pack in as much as they can into these releases. Like they're good releases that have a nice convenient sale that happens like twice a year. So that's the time to get them. Stagecoach. Everything I just said about the whole Westerns thing, we're doing it again. John Ford. This one actually, I may have seen this one before. I'm trying to figure out if I have. It's sometimes like I my mom and I watched a lot of like Turner Classic Movies when I was a kid, and so sometimes I can't quite like piece together which movies I've seen and which ones I haven't, because it's been like, we cut cable like almost 15 years ago, so it's like hard to say like, how long ago did we actually like see anything. So it's kind of like, well, I need to rewatch all these movies that I may have seen or did have seen. Like there's some that I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely seen that. But then there's others like this one where I'm like, did I see that? I don't know. So it's kind of like time to do it again. So, Time Bandits. My dad pulled this one, and I just like that it has a lenticular cover. I don't really know what about this made it worthy of lenticular cover. Also, I saw Sean Connery and David Warner and said, yes, I didn't actually read what the premise of the movie was. But now that I am reading the premise of the movie, this sounds kind of insane. In a good way. But kind of insane. Also, it has a director-approved 4K, so it must be good, right? Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of bonus features here. I feel like I've never heard of this movie before, right? And it's yeah, but it's got Sean Connery and David Warner, so sign me up. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't even know what to make of it, because again, I haven't seen it. And I'm also how is it, well enough known that it gets a 4K, a director-approved 4K, and a fancy slipcover, and I haven't heard of it. Also, it's got something to do with ships and sailing. I figured that out also because the booklet, yeah, it's a booklet, but it's also a map of whatever the heck goes on in this movie. And that's honestly really cool, and I'm sure after I see the movie, I'll appreciate all this a lot more than I am right now, where I'm just kind of fascinated and curious to see what lies within Time Bandits. Tootsie, Dustin Hoffman. I am not sure if I've actually seen it. It's one of those I know of it. I know it. I recognize it. I can pull it out of a crowd. The Sidney Pollack film. I can pull this out of a crowd. I know the movie. I could probably even reference the movie. I just can't tell you if I've actually seen it in full. I had the same issue with Airplane a year or so ago, where I was like, wait, have I just seen so many clips of Airplane that I think I've seen the entire thing? Because I saw a clip I hadn't seen, and I was like, okay, I would have remembered this if I'd seen it. And I was like, oh, I actually did not watch Airplane all the way through. So I have now. I have fixed that. But you can see nice disc art there. Yeah, this is a fun movie from everything I've seen and heard and learned about it. Seems like a good time. So I'm really curious to see how it is when I actually watch it. Also set to modern standards. But nice essays there, nice imagery. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of it's not really a poster. It's just kind of two different styles there. Very, very fun looking, and look forward to watching this in the near future. All right, we'll wrap this one up with the Yojimbo Sanjuro collection from Akira Kurosawa, because like Kurosawa, I make mad films. Kay don't make films, but if I did, they'd have a samurai. This is a cool collection because these two movies are really well known as well, and they really are influential in their own right. They get overshined by some of Kurosawa's other films, like The Seven Samurai, which Seven Samurai is great. And I'm kind of the annoying person that every time someone brings up The Magnificent Seven, which is the cowboy western remake of Seven Samurai, I'm like, did you know it was actually a remake of The Seven Samurai? I'm that guy. Too often, too consistently. So, got to add some more Kurosawa to the lineup here. And this is a nice 4K set. I believe the Blu-rays were singles, and then the 4Ks were in this dual pack. You can see you got Yojimbo on 4K and Blu-ray, and then a full booklet for it, which is great. And, when you're talking about, Criterion prices, right? So, the set is, $80, right, when it's on its own normal price at Barnes & Noble. But on the sale, it's only $40 for 2 movies on 4K and Blu-ray with booklets. That's a good deal. I consider that a good deal. It's actually cheaper than if they were single 4Ks, because if they're single 4Ks, they'd be $50, and then you'd be getting them on sale for $25. So the fact it's a dual pack kind of works out great. Plus, these two movies kind of pair nicely together, which I think is super cool. And then getting a nice little slipcase to put them in is really, really nice. You really can't go wrong with Kurosawa. I mean, there's a reason he's one of the legendary filmmakers. And yeah, Criterion served up nice releases across the board when it comes to these, for sure. So that was the sale haul this time. Kind of fun. I mean, there's a lot of it, we had such a huge haul last time. So a bunch of it's kind of ooh, what about that? What about this? And a lot of good variety. If you enjoy these type of videos, though, be sure to hit subscribe and notification bell if you haven't already, because I've been doing a lot more Blu-ray videos, and people have been enjoying them quite a bit, and other types of videos on the channel, of course. Hit the like button if you haven't already as well to help me know that you enjoyed it. And leave any comments down below. Tell me what you picked up on this time Criterion haul. What was your picks from the sale? Because, yeah, I want to hear what you got, because maybe it'll inspire me to get some picks. I hopefully inspired you to pick up some other things as well, because honestly, isn't this all just for the love of movies? On that note, if you want to continue the conversation, you can join our Discord server in the link below. And if you want perks like early access to videos, you can join as a channel member. Let's give some special shout-outs to our channel members. Special shout-out to all of our channel members, including Captain Tiers, Spin-54, Masturbed95, Forever1000, Super Shadix Boom, Veloquence, Rogue Leader 2448, Mr. Smelly Potato, Kaiju1954, Cameron Meter, Patty, Infinite 1985, Tokutaku, NXT, Crestfallen Thoughts at Midnight, Tara Neeson, Kamen Jojo, Mohammed Jop, Jess Hood, Phyllis Nerdyverse, Dr. Grid, Onio Nichan, and David Johnson. Thank you to everybody, viewers and channel members alike. If you so wish, I'm on social media on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Soundout12. You can also check out my awesome graphic designer on social media and Discord at DarkClaw643, and you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for entertainment, news, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, see you in the next haul.